The 23rd of August 1942. What kind of city keeps fighting when its streets are no longer streets, but open graves? When the sky rains fire for hours without mercy, and when the river behind it becomes both lifeline and coffin. The day the Luftwaffe unleashed one of the most devastating aerial bombardments of the war on Battle of Stalingrad. Entire districts were reduced to twisted iron and flaming timber within hours, killing tens of thousands of civilians in the opening assault alone. And yet, in that destruction, the German High Command made a fatal miscalculation. Because the rubble they created erased the advantages of Blitzkrieg and turned Stalingrad into a jagged fortress where tanks could barely maneuver and every pile of bricks became a sniper's nest. Hitler's obsession with capturing the city, bearing Joseph Stalin's name, transformed what was initially a strategic push toward the Caucasus oil fields into a symbolic duel of egos. And symbolism in war is often paid for in blood. As the German 6th Army under Friedrich Paulus advanced block by block through September 1942, facing Soviet defenders commanded by Vasily Kukov, who understood that survival meant proximity. So he ordered his troops to cling to the enemy so tightly that German airstrikes and artillery became almost useless, creating a nightmarish style of combat the soldiers called Rattenkrieg, or Rat War, where fighting erupted in sewers, elevator shafts, and even inside walls broken open with sledgehammers. One chilling episode unfolded inside the tractor factory in October 1942, where tanks were assembled in halls still under construction and driven straight from the production line into combat with crews, who sometimes had barely fired a round before. Mechanics grabbing rifles when ammunition ran dry. The clang of machinery mixing with the crack of rifles and screams echoing through smoke so thick it felt alive. Across the Volga, Soviet reinforcements crossed at night in small boats while German artillery zeroed in on the crossings. And survivors later described the river glowing with tracer fire, bodies drifting between ice floes as winter tightened its grip, and frostbite became as deadly as bullets. With temperatures plunging below -30 degrees Celsius, lubricants freezing, rifles jamming, and wounded men left in shell holes stiffening into silence. Inside the encircled German lines after Operation Uranus began on the 19th of November 1942, when Soviet forces smashed through weaker Axis flanks and sealed the trap. Desperation grew rapidly as Hermann Göring's promise to supply the 6th Army by air proved logistically impossible, with only a fraction of required tonnage reaching the pocket each day, forcing rations to shrink to starvation levels. Horses slaughtered, medical supplies exhausted, and field hospitals overwhelmed by typhus, dysentery, and frostbite so severe that limbs snapped like brittle wood. There are documented accounts of surgeons operating without proper anesthetic, using vodka when available, amputating blackened feet while artillery shook dust from the ceiling, and soldiers too weak to stand still ordered to man defensive lines against relentless Soviet assaults in January 1943. When artillery barrages lasted hours and entire German battalions ceased to exist under concentrated fire. Meanwhile, Soviet snipers such as Vasily Zaitsev turned the ruins into a deadly chessboard, claiming hundreds of confirmed kills and inspiring a culture of marksmanship that amplified the psychological terror among German troops who feared stepping into open ground for even a second. Morale on both sides swung wildly between fatalism and fanatic resolve, with NKVD blocking detachments enforcing discipline among Soviet ranks while German officers struggled to maintain order among starving, freezing men who listened to radio broadcasts promising relief that never came. By late January, the encircled forces had split into northern and southern pockets. Ammunition nearly gone, food exhausted, and on the 30th of January 1943, Hitler promoted Paulus to Field Marshal, a rank no German officer had ever surrendered with, implying he should take his own life, but Paulus instead chose captivity. And on the 2nd of February 1943, the last organized resistance ended, leaving approximately 91,000 Axis soldiers captured, of whom only a fraction would ever return home, while total casualties on both sides exceeded 2 million, including civilians caught in the inferno. The strategic consequences were enormous, shattering the aura of German invincibility, boosting Allied morale worldwide, and marking the beginning of a sustained Soviet offensive that would push relentlessly westward toward Berlin. But beyond strategy lies the human truth, the image of a mother searching through frozen rubble for her child. The sound of boots crunching over ice mixed with broken glass. The suffocating fear of clearing a darkened basement, knowing someone waited inside with a grenade. And the terrible stillness after bombardment, when the only sound left was the wind moving through hollowed buildings. Stalingrad broke more than divisions. It broke the myth of unstoppable conquest and proved that endurance, however costly, could grind down even the most powerful war machine. And if this deeper look into the battle changed the way you see World War II, tell me which moment shook you the most and share your thoughts below. Because history is not just dates and maps, it is human courage tested in fire and ice. And as you picture that final winter sunrise over a city reduced to ashes, ask yourself honestly, in a place where survival itself felt like horror, would you have held your ground or lost hope in the dark?